Welcome back to the ECB Cyber-Bar, and today's focus is on cyber health. In a nutshell, we're talking about cybersecurity posture, the real measure of an organization's cyber health. So posture is not just about your actual health. It's not how you sit in a chair, right? In cyber context, we're talking about your real-time health.
Yeah.
And pen tests they're pretty much outdated, I would say, and boards need 24/7 real-time assessment. And joining us today is not a guest. He's just a gentleman back home, Mr. Derek. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Derek.
Such a pleasure to be back. I think I'm the first returnee, right? On the podcast. So I feel honored to be back.
Now, welcome back. So back to our topic, posture. What is posture in the context of cybersecurity?
Posture is basically a snapshot of your organization's health, like you said, right? And I think I'm glad that you're raising a very relevant conversation of the importance of it, but more importantly, how we review, how we look at managing that health and maintaining that health, right? So it really gives you a snapshot view of how open you are in terms of gaps and what you need to attend to mitigate that risk for organizations. And it's a very exciting topic for me because one, it's an area that needs to be revisited for sure, but also it's an area that ensures that you proactively mitigate risk in your organization.
Yeah. Okay. So a pen test, my understanding is more of a static snapshot, right? It's got a date stamp, right? There's no continuity, right? So what are the pitfalls? Like, why has that become outdated today?
Well, I wouldn't look at it as outdated. I would look at it as necessary but not sufficient. Right, because there's a difference. Anything that helps to give us a view of our organization is key. Right, so pen tests do have a place, but I think the conversation has progressed further to require us to revisit how we look at risk assessments for organizations as a whole. Right, and I know a lot of consultants will come from my head when we talk about pen tests being irrelevant because that's their bread and butter. Yeah, but I think what's key is reviewing how we conduct those assessments, right? To speak to the challenges that organizations face on a daily basis. And that's where it's exciting because we are so empowered, I think, in this day and age that we are able to go further and do a lot more with less. And that means in this case, we need to review how we look at where we place pen tests for organizations. And one other thing is with pen tests, you're basically getting a view, leveraging, ethical hackers, leveraging red teams to help you actually test out the resilience of your organization, right? And I think we've seen this in movies, where guys come into the organization, pretend to be another employee, hack their way into your environment. And basically, these are the good guys that do that to test the strength of your security. Now, it's a very costly exercise, usually, if you're going to do it in depth. So typically, it requires a bit of investment. Is it necessary? Yes, I think it does have a place. But I think the challenge that it comes with is it gives you a point in time snapshot of your risk. And I like to look at it like this, right? If you're driving on a highway in your car, a pen test is like taking a picture of the status of the road, right? And then closing your eyes again and driving.
And assuming that all is good.
Assuming that you'll be fine, you'll get to your destination, right? But, why I'm saying we need to review how we look at that is we need a real-time assessment that gives us a constant view of what the road looks like. So if a kid gets on the road, or you have another vehicle that's in front of you, at any point you want to be able to proactively see that and be prepared. So red teaming and pen testing is relevant. It gives you a snapshot, but it's not sufficient to mitigate risk proactively, and that's where the challenge is.
So, okay, in layman's terms, this would be like, say I got a house.
Yeah.
I lock up all my doors, right?
Yeah.
Get a massive lock.
Yeah.
And then I come through every 6 months to check if that lock is still there, right?
Correct.
And then, my posture's good. No one has broken in. Right?
Correct.
Then I come back the next 6 months. Whereas
If you stay there.
if I stay there, right? Or maybe I got CCTV,
Correct.
right? Monitoring my property
consistently.
and in real time, right?
Absolutely.
I can just check on my phone to say, okay, notification,
Yeah.
right? Motion sensor went
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I check on my phone, okay, we have a problem.
Someone is trying to get in.
Someone's trying to get in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas with a pen test, right, someone can try to get in. They might not get in.
Yeah.
Right. But if I come back in 6 months,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
I might never know whether someone actually tried to get in.
Absolutely. And that's really
Wow.
the concept behind it. Now, if we bring it back to an organization,
Yep.
right, the business is ever growing,
Yeah.
right? You're updating systems, your network team are changing infrastructure.
Yep.
You have a constant moving and expanding attack surface, right?
Yep.
If I give you an assessment once a year, I'm not going to be able to see in real time the changes that have happened and the risks that might have been realized in my environment. And that's the challenge that we're seeing with a lot of organizations, that they don't have the information they need to be able to adapt quickly enough to the changes happening in their businesses. And I'm bringing that to the fold because that's really the conversation I think we have to be having with a lot of our executives and leadership, to give them that visibility, to be able to adapt quickly enough as their organizations develop and change. And as I said, because we're digitizing so much, we obviously need to keep up and be more speedy in how we respond to those changes. So if you look at the typical network, maybe let's say 10 years ago, right? You didn't have AI, you didn't have cloud as much, you didn't have these decentralized segments of your environment. You mainly had a physical network where as a security team you can just focus to secure that. But with the ever expanding environment that we have for a lot of customers, one person can't stay up to date with every change happening in the organization fast enough. So we need to leverage tools that are available to give us that visibility. And I think we need to expand the conversation beyond just having a conversation with technical teams around that. But I think even at senior executive level, you want to have that visibility to say, what is our risk?
At a certain point in time.
Exactly, right? Because it expands the conversation from a technical conversation, but it's really, what is the risk of my organization, right? And a lot of our organizations now are really digital, right? So,
100%.
So as a business, your whole foundation is digital systems that are running your software, that are running hosting your data. You want to be able to secure that and have visibility around the risk on that. So that's why. The need to revisit how we look at posture management and how we look at risk assessments, where pen testing falls under.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, so if I'm Exco, right, how do I move from theory to something actionable, right? How can we quantify posture, right? Exco is numbers.
For sure.
They understand numbers, right?
Absolutely.
The rest is theory, right? But numbers, right? Risk can be quantified.
Correct.
Right? How do we do that? How does Exco do that?
I like that because it really comes down to the data that I have in front of me. Right. And I think we tend to think that cybersecurity is different from any other risk that an organization faces, right? And as much as ESCO and leadership get a very clear view on their risk, whether it's physical, whether it's around their returns on investments, or their produce and etc., you can get the same kind of data that positions you to say, this is what our risk looks like. From a cyber perspective, cyber risk specifically, right? And that's quantifiable looking at data that has to do with the type of gap that you have, the type of risk associated with the data that you're hosting. You can quantify the value of that. You can quantify the value of impact if something does happen, if a gap that's identified as exposed, etc. And where we are at this point is you can really simplify that type of information, taking it from a very technical foundation to something that's really understandable in layman's terms. So because all I want to know as a board member or as an executive is, what is it going to cost me if I don't attend to this? Right? What is the ripple effect? What is the impact? And there are systems and solutions that can really simplify that data and give you that visibility that you can then make decisions on a daily basis.
So ultimately quantifying whether I'm resilient and the cost of not being resilient.
Correct.
Whether I'm compliant, the cost of not being compliant, or gaps in my system and what those gaps will cost me.
And I'm glad you bring up compliance because that's a really good benchmark. For a lot of organizations. And if we look, for example, in the FSI space, highly regulated. Right? And with that, what I want to know is, how close am I in my resilience to be well prepared for any type of incident, right? Or breach. Now, a lot of organizations say they're doing something about it, but they're not. They tell the board, we're doing something about it. But you find that how accurate that is, we don't know. Right? And what we're saying and trying to bring to the table is, how do we give senior level management and executives and board members visibility on accurate information around how open they are, how exposed they are, right? And that and to your point, compliance is a very key aspect of that, because you've got different frameworks that we have to adhere to. That are almost like tick box exercises to say, this is where we are, this is what we've been able to attend to and mitigate, but we're still open here. And it's a conversation around process, it's a conversation around technology, and it's a conversation around people. So that's a good starting point, and a lot of solutions give you that. Right. So if you're looking at, let's say, cloud security specifically, they have regulation and frameworks that speak to cloud. And they require you to do A, B, C, D, 3, 4, 5, whatever, right? To secure or to be well positioned to mitigate risk for cloud. And that's the type of data that you want to equip your executives to say, well, this is how far we are from meeting ISO, from meeting CIS, from meeting this, or whatever the case. And with that, we can also see what could happen if we don't attend to ABCD. Right. And you put metrics around that and be able to quantify it. So there is information and tools and data that management can use to really give them a view of their posture. Right? And this prepares them for, even for IT teams, for audits, right? If we're going to be audited in terms of how secure we are, what systems we have, and so forth, and compliance, we want to be able to proactively test ourselves.
I like that you brought up audit, right? There's a certain attitude towards these assessments, right? Where entities feel that an assessment is an audit, right? But it's more of an internal exercise that prepares you for the audit, right? So there's a stigma around assessments, right? Especially if it's coming from an external team. Where people feel like, okay, right? They're here to mark our homework, right? So I think there needs to be a mind shift there, right? That these assessments are actually there to prepare you for the auditor.
But with anything, in real life, right? If I'm going for a boxing match, right, I have a trainer
exactly
who works out with me and it can get really intense, right? Because we're trying to prepare for the real thing, and that's the whole thing around assessments, right? You're basically trying to position yourself as close as possible for the real thing. You know, the worst case scenario is an actual threat.
Yeah.
When it does happen, how prepared are we to mitigate it? Do we have all the prevention measures? Do we have the visibility to detect? Do we have the capability to respond? Do we have the capability to remediate? God forbid something does happen, because it's never a matter, of if. It's a matter of when.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So it's really about positioning yourselves, and to your point, yes, it's a mind shift around, collaboration. I think collaboration is key. Right. We have experts and organizations like ECB that are well positioned to support customers proactively to test their resilience. And you're not the enemy. You're the help.
Exactly.
Right. Obviously, there's credibility and trust, but what's key to understand is cybersecurity is a collaborative effort, right, between customers, partners like yourselves, organizations that develop solutions, etc. And it's you can never be 100% too confident. In yourself. There's always something new. There's always a shifting.
There's always a blind spot. So an assessment is pretty much my understanding, right? Like it's it's like your credit rating, right? Like you're doing an assessment of your own credit rating, where you stand.
For sure.
With that, and it's pretty interesting. Okay, we mentioned assessment, right?
Yes.
But how accessible is this, right? Like, okay, what is it? What's in that, right? Let's have a discussion around that. What goes into this tool? What is it? How accessible is it? Who has access to it within the organization, right? How user friendly is it? I know you worked on one. Maybe you can discuss that. You can speak to that as well.
So what we bring into the table is how do we bring frameworks that we use to posture ourselves to management and to all cybersecurity teams to be able to see where they are in meeting a lot of the controls that they have to meet. And I think previously in our previous discussion, I did speak about the importance of moving towards certification on frameworks that are tied to your industry. I think we're a bit relaxed in some cases and in some industries, where I think it has to be something that's the point that's driven across. And what we try to do is align the controls that we're assessing for to your industry. So you're in the banking space. There are very key controls that you have to adhere to, or that speak to your posture, bit of posturing yourself, like PCI. Right, you have ISO, you've got NIST, etc. Right, and then you have also very relevant controls or frameworks related to your country, right? Data Protection Act, etc. That speak to Zimbabwe. And what we look for in solutions that speak, I think for us at least, is how do we build or identify solutions that speak to those controls. Right. A lot of organizations at management level don't know the relevance of some of these things. They just hear, well, we need to buy this tool, or we need to review this process, or we need to hire that person, etc. But they don't the why of why is it necessary? What are you mitigating? What are you addressing? Is not necessarily clarified as needed to justify investment.
Justify the cost.
So what we've put together is a tool that basically aligns those technical controls to business cases, to say you need A, B, C, D to assess for A, B, C, D because it attends to this this type of risk, and what is the benchmark globally for a bank to be well positioned, right? So it's basically a very simplified approach of benchmarking how you ensure resilience with very clear line items. And with AI, you're able to build these type of capabilities very quickly and align that with different frameworks so that you actually have that, capability at the fingertips of management and executives.
Interesting. All right. So how accessible is this, and how friendly is it, right? Because look, Excos, they're good at what they do, right? They crunch numbers, they do strategy, right? They measure risk. But then, do I have to be tick to use this tool?
Not at all. Not at all. I think it's a collaborative effort, and that's part of the point, right? That cybersecurity is a collaborative effort between business management, between technical teams, between every employee. So the exercise does require collaboration between your risk team, your IT team, your technical team, and your management to really explore that people, process, technology concept. How well are we positioned on the people side? How well are we positioned on the technology side? How well are we positioned on the process side? So we're assessing across all those key pillars, right, in this assessment. And it's something that you can do in less than 30 minutes. Because the conversation, do we have this? Do we have that? How far have we gone with this? Do we have this process? Do we have this technology or solution? How implemented and fully operational is it? It's asking very key questions that speak to your positioning as a business, right? And then the outputs of that give you very clear views of where the gaps. And then prioritizing on those gaps. Which ones are the critical ones we need to attend to because of impact, right? And what is the cost? Because that's what's key. To your point, how do we quantify this into value and numbers, right? And if we attend to A, B, C, D, how does that improve our posture? And that's information, as I'm saying, that I think is very key for any business that is really taking cybersecurity seriously to be able to assess. The technology piece and doing pen testing and all of that is great, because now you're actually testing to say, well, we say we've got these gaps here. Let's actually see what the impact is. Can they actually be targeted, and what is the outcome of that? So you do attack path modeling and getting a clear view of how attackers can navigate your environment. That's the second piece. But I think on a daily basis, or at least on a very regular basis, organizations want to see what that score in terms of their posture looks like, and that's where these kind of tools can come in.
So it's more of an appraisal tool, non-invasive. Non-invasive,
for sure.
So anyone can use it. Okay.
So it's not like a CEO has to go and do a pen test and hack someone to get that. No, it's really speaking to business, but speaking also to technical as well, and that collaboration across. I think it's key. Your management need to have a very clear appreciation of what their estate looks like. And then be able to hold other teams accountable to say, we need to move quicker. Based on where we stand.
I know you are updating the tool. Is it live now? Are we good to go live?
It is good to go live. I think we go on the website, on the ECB website. You can conduct that assessment very quickly. What I like to do, and this is just from experience. You can point people to a website to go do it themselves, but I think sometimes a very collaborative engagement and discussion, leveraging the tool helps, because you're able to have a more expanded or bigger conversation around why we haven't attended to this or that, or conscientize and educate different stakeholders. So bringing in an ECB to have a discussion and go through with you that on that assessment, you benefit a lot more, because you can come out of that conversation with a very clear view of, this is how open things are, or what do we need to do next? Right? So there's that assessment you can do on the website, which is lightweight, but there's an in-depth assessment you can do with ECB that takes about 30 to an hour max, but you're getting so much value out of that workshop, because you got your risk team there, you got your networking team there, you got your management there, and you're having very clear discussions on how we're tending to A, B, C, D, and you have a consultant that's speaking to those key gaps and highlighting the importance of it.
Oh, great. All right. So for reference, check out our website, ecbinternational.biz. We'll drop a link at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can have a look at that tool. And I like what Derek said, that you can go through it, but if you want something more in depth, it's like reading your own diagnosis. You get a diagnosis from a lab, a medical lab, right? And you have to open the envelope alone.
Yeah.
And your doctor's not there. It's not recommended.
For sure.
Because you might, when you open it, you're like, okay, I'm doomed.
You might take shortcuts.
Exactly. You're like, okay.
You know what I mean?
Or you could just close the envelope. You're like, okay, you know what? I feel fine.
There you go.
I feel fine. So I'm fine.
So I'm all right.
Right.
But if you have an expert there to work with you, we go through each line item in depth, and then we can interpret better the outcomes, right? The results. So, well, this is what we're seeing, and this is the roadmap on how we can attend to this.
Yeah.
Right? And this is the importance of why we need to look at this. That information is very key. And that's for me, that's what gets me excited. When you see management having a clearer view of, oh snap, this is where we stand, and this is the impact. Okay, we need to invest. As opposed to it coming across as an expense.
Exactly.
Because that's usually how cybersecurity is positioned. It's an expense.
It's an expense.
Because nothing's happened. But until it happens,
it's like insurance.
But why did we not invest 2 million in this? We could have saved ourselves 30 million. And that's the importance of having that discussion to say, well, guys, look, this is where you stand, and this is what it potentially trickles down to in numbers and risk and cost. And we can justify why. And this is the investment that you need to make. And this is the roadmap, because it's not an overnight thing. It's a phased approach, right? Maybe we start with the critical risk issues that we need to attend to. We'll work our way down to the less critical. So there's a methodology behind it that it holds you accountable, that holds your business accountable, and that actually allows you to see real results.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for that. So I would say the roadmap to even compliance, right? I would say take the test, take the assessment.
For sure.
And the good part about this, coming from a business background, best part about this, it's free.
I mean, that's it doesn't get better than that. But I know sometimes they say, "Hey, Jamara." So I don't know how to look at that, but you're right. The point is, we want the value to prove itself. For us, being very transparent is the more informed you are, the better it is for us to work with you as well.
Exactly.
Right? So there's thinking behind it to say, let's help you see. And then this is how we can help you. Right. So it's a collaborative effort.
Help us help you.
There you go. That's it.
All right. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Derek, thank you for having us again.
Such a pleasure.
This concludes our episode this week. See you next week. And don't forget to check out our assessment tool on ecbinternational.biz.
Absolutely. Cheers.